recording. Okay, so we're going to do a Pear deck for geometric sequences in series. And there's only 21 slides, so it's very similar to the last one with different formulas. We're going to start with a geometric sequence, and we already really talked about a geometric sequence. Oh, by the way, hopefully somebody in your first block or your parents asked you all these questions, but for those of you in the building especially, don't come to school if you don't feel well. Usually they'd say, oh, I have a little cough. Come on, man up, go to school. If you have a cough this time, you cannot come to school. So don't come to school if you don't feel well. And that includes headaches, muscle pain, sore throats, vomiting, diarrhea, loss of appetite, smell, taste, skin rashes, and especially if you have a fever, don't come to school if you don't feel well. It's going to be a nightmare to trace down who you've been in contact with if you end up being super sick. So you know the drill. I don't like any of these slides, but they make me do it. Here's the bell schedule for those of you who still can't remember when class is starting in, like me. I am that person. And then here's the Wi-Fi stuff, but I did send, so my first hint is always completely shut down your computer and come back in. And I know you're afraid you'll miss something and you don't want to do it and you want to fix it, but quicker than anything is a complete reboot. And then the second thing is make sure you're on the HCS Wi-Fi, not the HCS guest. And then Mr. Caldwell said a couple of tips about extending your battery life. You know, keep it dim. Your screen should not be on the brightest level. It should be dim, and close the laptop when you're not using it, which you'll be using the whole time this time. Okay, so this is a social media influencer question. So one day you see an awesome video on YouTube. This is you. You saw this awesome video. At 1 p.m., you shared that link with 5 different people. Okay, and then at 2 p.m., each of those friends shared it with 5 new people, and then at 3 p.m., and then at 4 p.m., all the way up to 6 p.m. How many people shared this link? Okay, if this pattern keeps happening, how many people received this link by 6 p.m.? So not you, you don't count because you didn't receive it, you shared it, you were the first person. Only starting from the 5 people you shared and on out, how many total people is that? So I will give you about a minute because this is really just a warm-up slide. It's not all that important. So it's waiting for you to enter a number, and you have about 20 seconds left. And the number should be about 5 digits long, so it is a big number. It's 5 seconds. You're doing a fine, okay. I will unlock and give you just about 20 seconds longer. Okay, I'm locking screens about now. Let's see what everybody said. So the number I got, maybe I did something wrong. Looks like most of you got 15,625. So let's go back and see if those of you were right. So I'm going to annotate, so you'll have to check out the Zoom for just a minute. So it looks to me like each time somebody shares with 5 more people, you multiply that number by 5. So it'd be 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. 125 times 5 is 625. 625 times 5 is 3,125. And that times 5 is 15,625. So if you add up these 6 numbers, you'd say 5 plus 25 plus 125 plus 625 plus 3,125 plus 15,625. I am getting the number 19,530, which is what I got last time. So let's see how many of you said 19,530. I'm guessing these dots right here. It looks like maybe one person got it. Anybody get that? Yes. So if it says how many people shared the link, you're not looking for the last number that got shared. You're looking for the total, right? If it keeps happening, how many unique people? So these were unique. The first 5 you shared it to, and those 25 were unique. So yes, you were supposed, and it even has plus signs. So I don't know how you missed that. Okay. That is a geometric sequence. And here are the formulas for the geometric. So if you have a chance to take a screenshot now, please do so. So remember, the definitions are all the same ones from last time, where a sub n is the nth term, s sub n is the sum of the first n terms. S sub infinity does count now for geometric. It's the sum of an infinite geometric series. It only works for geometric, never arithmetic. R is the common ratio, and the one thing I don't need this time is D, the common difference. That's only for arithmetics. So your explicit geometric formula is a sub n is a sub 1 times R, the common ratio, to the n minus 1 power. In your recursive, I want 3 dashes. Please ignore that recursive formula. I absolutely hate it. Just give me 3 bars. Your S sub n is a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n all over 1 minus r, where r can never equal 1. And your S sub infinity is a sub 1 over 1 minus r, where the absolute value of r must be less than 1. Your r value cannot be 1 or greater for an infinite series. All right, everybody have a screenshot? All right, so let's first warm up with, is it geometric? So remember in the last class I said subtract backwards. Well, guess what you're doing now backwards? You're dividing backwards. So if it's geometric, I divide 21 by 7 and I get 3. I divide 63 by 21 and I still get 3. I divide 189 by 63 and I still get 3. And I divide 567 by 189 and I still get 3. So my R is 3. It is geometric with an R of 3. Okay, this is a draw slide. I need you to do the next 3. Is it geometric? If so, give me R, and that's all I need. If it's not geometric, just tell me no, but don't continue to find the pattern. If it's not geometric, I'm not interested in it this class. So you can sense what I'm doing is all the same slides I did last time, only for geometric. So we're going to see missing terms. We're going to see sum of a series. We're going to see the nth term. It's all going to be the same. So the vocab won't stop us this time. We'll be able to get through this quicker. And also there's less slides. Pear, did you get the answer to that social media influencer slide or not? I'm just curious. Were you the one person who looked like you got it? What I meant to say. Okay. All right, let's check and see what everybody said. Lock screens. Okay, so the second one is a no. You're correct about that because that's arithmetic. There's a common difference of 3, but it's not the same if you divide backwards. The third one is a yes, and it is a -1/2. So you forgot to go backwards. You went forward. You said 200 divided by -100 instead of going backwards. That is correct, Brianna. So do you see what I mean by saying I make those arrows for a reason? Because those of you who said number 3 is not -2, it's -1/2. You divided 200 by -100. You should have divided -100 by 200. And then the last one is yes, it's 1.5, 1.5. So 12 over 8 is 1.5, 18 over 12 is 1.5, 27 over 18 is 1.5. Very artistic, my friends. And yes, you're correct. All of these are correct. You see what you did on number 3? You divided forwards. You should have divided backwards. Okay, good, good, good. Good. Okay, and then you were, this must be the person who just told me it was 1.5. Good. Very good, guys. Okay, and then you didn't get to number 4, but that's okay. Nobody's brain likes fractions. And yes, fractions are a way of life. And that's why they go out of their way on the SOL test to throw a fraction problem at you, because they say, you know what? 90% of the kids would get this if it wasn't a fraction, but only about 35% will get it if it is a fraction. Let's give them a fraction. I think they're just mean that way. They're not testing your knowledge. They're testing how well you can relate to a fraction. So knowing that, see this person in green, you divided forwards as well. Divide backwards, my friends, divide backwards. And then the last number 4 was a yes. Okay, so that was, so number 2 is a no. So you're telling me what 3 is, but I asked you only for R, not for D. So you gave me D for number 2. It is not geometric, so just say no. All right, you guys get what we're doing today? Are we good? Is there anybody who wants to pause and ask a question on this slide? Because you really need to know if it's geometric or arithmetic. All right, so moving on. So now we're using the explicit formula. That's the a sub n. This time it's a sub 1 times r, the common ratio to the n minus 1th power. So whatever this subscript is, that's n here and here. So if I said, if I gave you a1 is 888, and I told you your r value is 1/2, and I said, find me a sub 8, you would say, well, you told me a1 was 888, and you told me r was 1/2. And if I know we're looking for a sub 8, I put the 8 here in the n minus 1 spot. So 8 minus 1 is 7. So I just ran this in my Desmos, the only Desmos I've ever showed you. And I said 888 times 1/2, close parentheses, oops, close them outside the 2, to the 8 minus 1 power. And it told me it's 2.468. Is that right? That doesn't sound right. What is that? What am I looking at? What that? I don't know what that is. Oh, I got to go back to Pear Deck. I got to make sure I'm in the right question. What did I do wrong? How come I got 6.937? I don't think I got the right answer. Oh, because I see why. You see why it said 8 minus 1 and it dropped the 1 down? In Desmos, Desmos is the only one that does this. You have to put parentheses around your 8 minus 1 if you want them to stay together. That's right, okay? So that, and if I turn it into a fraction, it's 111 over 16. You can only type. How did they give you a Chromebook without a touch screen? Like, where are they getting Chromebooks that don't have touch screens? I thought every Chromebook had to have one. Oh, Chase is telling me back there. I didn't even see you, Chase. You caught it, didn't you? Okay, so for Desmos, you've got to put your n minus 1 in parentheses, or it's going to drop that -1 down below. And then the question most of you are going to ask is, should I give it to you as a decimal or a fraction? Well, here's the answer to that. And it's really a simple answer. What did the problem give you to begin with? Did the problem give you decimals? Stay with decimals. Did the problem give you a fraction anywhere? It did. It said R was 1/2 instead of 0.5. So stay with fractions if you have fractions in the beginning. Stay with decimals if you have decimals in the beginning. So you guys, I can see 10 of you have done this while I've been talking. So please finish these next 2 problems. And some of you are probably already done. And Rihanna, I think you can, if it says draw, you should be able to type as well, right? I don't think the draw slides will lock you out just because you're using your keyboard. I think it'll let you, because I've had a lot of people use their keyboards on the draw slides. Okay, that's good. I'm glad. All right, I am going to cut this off in 30 seconds because it looks to me like most of you have done these. It's really only 2 problems and it's just plugging into a simple formula up above. So I always wonder what it is about these types of problems that somebody has to have 3 minutes to finish them. It's straight plug and chug, as they used to say in college. You plug it in and you chug it out. All of these parentheses are important too. So let's see what everybody said. I got, somebody was in the middle of writing, neither of those are correct. Yes, negative 2,187, and no, I don't know what you did here. I don't know why this one is not right. I got negative 4,096. Let's see if anybody else did. Yeah, but that should be a negative sign. Somebody dropped their negative. This one is, I don't know what that is. This one is almost correct except for the negative sign. Correct? Correct. Okay, so whoever wrote in blue, you did great. So it's really important when you put these in, you put them in properly. And if you're going to do 8 minus 1, that had better have parentheses around it. Same up here. So I don't understand this. A, negative 1, 3, minus 1, minus 1. How are you not knowing that your A sub 1 is negative 1? So just get rid of this A here. R is 3, so you did that right. And then N is 8. There's your subscript right there. So 8 is N, so that should say 8 minus 1, or that's 7, right? Good, good. I'd like to see your work, those of you who are writing in yellow, or that person. Okay, that's cool. And that's cool. I don't mind the caret. Well, I do mind the caret, but I'm cool with it because I know if you can't write, then you can't write. But that's good. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. Please don't tell me you couldn't find N in this problem. N is the subscript. There are 8 all the way across. So those of you who did not listen last time where I told you N is always this little subscript, please get it right this time, okay? There's no secret to where N is. It's right there after the little A, 8. Negative 2187, looks like you're on the right track, but I cut you off. Negative 2187, negative 4096, you forgot your 6, but you're on the right track. Perfect. Please show me some work here. Okay, the answer is not exactly what I want. I want the plugins too. So for everybody who showed me what they plugged in, I appreciate all of that. Just an answer says, yes, you got it right, but could I see what you did? Same with you. Don't know where you were going here. There's no 7. Oh, negative 3. Okay, no. So here's what you did. You violated PEMDAS. You said, oh, well, if it's A1 times R, let me do that first. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. And then let me raise it to the 7th power. PEMDAS says exponents come first, and you did multiplication first. That's why that plugin is so important. Okay, because if you had plugged it in, you would have put a negative 1 in front, parentheses with the 3 in it. Yes, you're killing puppies instead of kittens. Right. So the PEMDAS rule says you cannot multiply 2 things before you raise that one thing to the power first. And that's what you did. You multiplied first. All right. Are we cool? All right. So this is my recursive formula. Notice in each of these problems, I show you 3 horizontal bars. That's what I mean by my recursive is better than the old recursive. Give me 3 horizontal bars, put the number that they give you in the middle, and then take your R value. And if I want to go forward, I have to multiply this number by R. If I want to go backwards, I have to divide this number by R. So if my R is 0.25, if I said 256 times 0.25, I get a 64. If I say 256 divided by 0.25, I get 1024. And those of you who put the 64 here and the 1024 here will miss this problem entirely. You will not get any partial points. You've got to know that you're moving forward, you multiply, or if it's arithmetic, we add. Here's how I remember which way we go forward. Let's say I give you a pile of money, right? And you're sitting on a stack of money. And I say, do you want to go forward with your money? You can either add to it or multiply it. You'd like that, right? If I said, do you want to go backward with your money? You have to divide it or subtract from it. You'd hate that, wouldn't you? So going forward is a good thing. You multiply or you add. Going backwards is a bad thing. You divide or subtract. Okay. So think of this as your pile of money. You add to go forward, you subtract to go backward, and whatever your R is, you've got to literally put that R in. Okay. So now you guys do this one. Oh, 12 or 14 of you have already answered it. Take another 30 seconds, those of you wrapping it up. You guys will come to love my recursive formula versus the book's recursive formula. So even though your formula sheet doesn't have it, every time you hear the word recursive, think 3 bars. Give her 3 bars. One of you is not answering. It could be somebody with slow internet issues. Okay, lock screens. So 300 should be on the middle bar. To go forward, you multiplied, and that is correct. To go backwards, you divide 300 by 1/3, and that is correct. Well done, you. Well done, you. Yes, my friends. Well done. Not one person has gotten them backwards yet. 100, but yes. 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 Who's coming in? Lana. Okay, so I know what you did. You didn't want to type 1/3 in, so you said 0.33, and it gave you a decimal answer. You need to use the exact value of R. Do not round it. So here's what I think you did. I think you said 300 divided by, and you said, let me just give it a 0.33. Or times 0.33. That's right. You, to go forward, you said times. Times 0.33. Oh, why doesn't it like my X? Oh, because it thinks X is a variable. I have to use this instead. Maybe you just said 0.3. I don't know. What did you say? There you go. You used a decimal representation, but you should have used the exact value of R, which is 1/3. Okay, please do not round your R's. Do not round them. They have to be exact. So it was 100. This. Great, guys. This is really good. So, okay, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I see. You put it up here. Okay, I'd like to see it down here, please. Otherwise, you're not using my recursive. You're doing your own deal. How did you not get to 300 times 1/3? I mean, it didn't take that long. Okay, again, put it on the bar so I know you're using my recursive. What is this? I don't know what this is. Okay. We are more than halfway through, guys, so geometric means, remember in the arithmetics we said 20 plus 80, which is 100 divided by 2, which is 50. For a geometric, we say 20 times 80, and then we take its square root. So you can do all of that in Desmos. I can say SQRT, because Bear taught me how to do that. SQRT. And then I can say 20 times 80. Huh? Oh, 20. And you get 40. Okay. So that's how you find missing terms, or they call that missing term, the middle term, the geometric mean. So let's see if we can crank that out. Now down below, please don't round this, actually use the exact answer. You have to go from this point to the middle. And then from that middle, you're going to use this one and this one to find this middle, and then this one and this one. So you always work from the middle out like we did last class. So this one will take just a bit of time because you're doing a lot of square roots of numbers. So I will give you, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to lock your screens. You're going to be mad at me. I'll give you 3 minutes. How did they go up to 3.1? That was weird. Huh. Interesting. Two, 2, grab that link. Are you guys out of time? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm messing around with the, hang on. I need to post this before I forget because all those kids who are out. Okay. Save. Okay, so let's go over this slide. Sorry to make you guys wait on me. Okay, so 25, the square root of 25 times 121 is, I should know what that is right now. 55, correct. Now, what happened here? Let's see if anybody else got those. Okay, somebody got them. Somebody else was on their way. Somebody was quite close. All right, I'm going to give you guys just a few more minutes to finish this slide because if you hadn't finished it, now's your time. Oh, no wonder. I'm a dummy. Let's see, we only have 7 more slides to go and class ends in 25 minutes. Let's take another 30 seconds on this slide. Where is the 14th student? Somebody has not answered this at all. So somebody logged in, walked away, or maybe your internet is lagging. I don't know. All right, so I want to get to these. So I did the square root of 1093.5 times 128 over 3, and I did not round it. I actually used that number, and I did get 216. And then I did the square root of 1093.5 times 216, and I did get 486. So now I'm going to do the square root of 1093.5 times 486 to get the next middle blank, and I am going to get 729. Now I'm going to stop right here. So I've got all of these from 216 over. So you can keep going the square root of 216 times 128.3, or you can divide backwards and find the common ratio. So if I say 729 divided by 1093.5, I get a common ratio of 2/3. So that means to go forward, and we just did this in the recursive. So if I take this 216 and I want to go forward, I can say 216 times 2 divided by 3. I will not round that to 0.667. I will say 2 times 2/3. And I get 144. And if I take 144 and say times 2/3, I get 96. And if I say 96 times 2/3, I get 64. And if I say 64 times 2/3, I get 42.6 repeating, but if I make that a math enter a fraction, I get 128 over 3. Okay, so what I did is I built it all the way to the left side, from the middle to the left, and then I just found my common ratio. So I could have divided any one of these consecutive pairs of numbers backwards, 324 over 46, 46 over 729, 729. And if you know your common ratio R, then just start at any place in the middle of that series and multiply by R to go forwards. Good. Okay, you're still lagging a little bit, and I'm thinking you're probably, I don't know how you got 123.75. I'm not sure if you forgot a decimal here. 729, yeah, very good. 729, 216, I'm guessing that is 216. No, here's 216. This is, I forget what that number is. 486. Let's see if that's right. Yes, that is a 40. Yes, good. Okay, so something's wrong here. You're losing a little bit of your precision because you're doing something that's rounding your numbers, and these should be all integers on all these. It's not that every problem will give you integers, it's that this particular one does, and it looks like you're not getting all integers. So you've done something wrong, maybe from the very beginning, because this middle number is not right. If you don't get the middle number right, then none of the others will be right. Yep, these are all good. Yeah, these are good. Yep, these are good. Okay, all you did was the 55 and you walked away. Where are you, blue ink person? Okay, so now we're going to evaluate a geometric series. So here's what you could do. And a lot of people say, Miss, why can't we just say 4 plus 12 plus 36 plus 108 plus 324 plus 972? And I would say, yes, if they give you all the terms in the sequence, of course you can. But you know what? They'll never do this. That would be like a second grade math problem. Can you please add 4 to 12 to 30? They won't do that. So what I need you to know is how to use the formula for the sum of this. Notice it turned into plus signs instead of commas. So now we're calling it a series instead of a sequence. So you're going to find your A1 term, your R term. Anybody tell me what A1 is? A1 is 4. Good. Anybody know what R is? No. Yes, Brianna. R is 3. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 36 divided by 12 is 3. 108 divided by 36 is 3. So R is 3. So you should be writing A1 is 4, R is 3. And how many terms are in this list? Tell me what the N is. 6. Right. I count 6 terms. So you have everything you need. So somebody do this for me. Just run and add all those 6 numbers up and tell me what you get. Let's just do it real quick, the second grade way. What do you get when you add 4 plus 12 plus 36 plus 108 plus 324 plus 972? Okay, 1,456. Is anybody else getting that? All right, now let's plug A1 of 4, R of 3, and N of 6 into this formula. And I'm going to show you, if you were going to Desmos, I would put that entire formula in. First, I'd start with a sideways slash. So I would say A1 was 4. 1 minus R was 3, N was 6 over 1 minus R. Oops, I need to say below. Over 1 minus R. And that's exactly what Pear just reported, 1,456, okay? So you guys are gonna try and shut down and not do this formula because it looks so much harder than actually just adding those 6 numbers up. But I will never give you 6 numbers and say, find the sum of these 6 numbers. That's not what Algebra 2 is about. I will probably leave out some terms. I will give you just the information you need, A1, R, and N, and I will ask you to find S sub 15, and that would be your N. So we've already answered this one, so go ahead and type in what you know. Go ahead and fill in all of that information on this slide so you have it for your Pear Deck to study. So don't just say the answer was 1,456 because Bear reported it. Show me how you got it using your A1, your R, and your N by plugging those in, and then tell me what you get. So I'll give you a minute, even though we're running a little bit low on time, because I know I have to shut down in about 10 minutes for you guys to clean up in the building. Okay, I'm going to stop and move forward because we need to actually get going. So now, again, I give you 4 terms. You can go to Desmos and add these, but you're not going to be happy if I don't tell you all 4 terms. So I want you to plug this into the formula and do it in Desmos. Use your A1. You should recognize A1. You should recognize R by dividing fractions backwards. Now, when you divide fractions in Desmos, do this. I say, we're going to divide, and then I put another divide up top, and I jump down below, and I put a third divide so that I have, you can see what I've got, 2 little fractions separated by a big fraction bar. Then I fill in those numbers. Okay, and don't forget you're going backwards. And since this problem has fractions in it, your answer should have a fraction in it. Okay, it is a fraction. I don't want that decimal. I want the fraction answer. What do you mean it won't allow you to type? Is it because you're trying to do a fraction and it doesn't like the sideways key? Okay. I thought if it said type a number, it would let you do a fraction, but apparently it won't. So do the top two numbers and then the bottom two numbers side to side, and I'll know you got it right. So there's two numbers on the top of your fraction and two on the bottom. Just type all four together and leave off the division bar. Let's see how many of you got it right. Okay, so it is a number less than one. So all the people down here below this number, you guys are right. These two are way too big. Okay, so we need to get going because we only have about 7 minutes. So when you do infinite geometric series, you use the infinite formula, which is one of my favorites because it's so simple. I just need A1 and R. The only way I can use this formula is if the absolute value of R or the magnitude is a number smaller than 1. So it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. All it matters is if the number itself is less than 1. So here's what I did. I found R by saying -1/5 divided by 1 is -1/5. So that number is smaller than 1, never mind the negative sign. So then I know that the series will converge, so I can use this sum. So A1 was 1 and R was -1/5. So I say 1/1 minus -1/5. Notice I didn't drop one of the negative signs because there's a negative in the formula and R is a negative number. And I get 5/6. Okay, so that one did converge. Now, first of all, you have to find what R is. And if R is not a number smaller than 1, when you take its absolute value, then you cannot say it converges and there's no sum. But if R is less than the number 1, once you drop all signs off of R, then you can use this formula. So let's see what you guys get. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I know it's going to give you a decimal. Well, it gave me a decimal, so I would like a fraction answer if you could. And again, if it's a draw slide, you should be able to set up a fraction for me. That makes sense. Okay, Lana, don't stress out. I will tell you what I told Chase, and it happened to help him wonderfully. He shut down, and the shutdown seemed to work. Chase, are you still doing okay now since the shutdown? Or has it gotten back to crazy? Okay, so Chase says it worked. The only thing I would recommend when you're really struggling with internet is a shutdown, a total reboot of the system, a power off the Chromebook and power it back up again. Don't just try and close a tab here or close a tab there. Total powers off works. So I'm just going to lock these screens and check where you guys are. I know not everybody had a chance. Yes, I got that too. Okay, you're on your way, but this is not the right R value. So 1 minus 20, you subtracted backwards. You should, I think you did. I don't even know what you did. Divide backwards, okay? If you don't find the right R, and your R is negative, by the way, so your answer is wrong because this should be 1 minus -0.5. So even though we're checking the absolute value against the number 1, you still have to use the right R in the formula down here. Perfect. Yes, it should be 64/3. I'm not sure how you got this number. That's not right. This is over 1.5, not 0.5, because 1 minus -1/2 is 1.5. So that's not right. 64/3. Yes, this is set up perfectly, but your answer's not right. So this is good. I can't read that. Oh, -10 2/3. That's not right. And it should be -21 2/3, not -10. Okay, I don't know how you got an 8. It is not -16 minus 32. It's -16 divided by 32. So it's not -8. Okay, you got as far as R, but you need a negative on your R. Okay, so that is how you tell if it converges or diverges. I want to just skip ahead and see what we're missing. So do this last one for me, and then we're going to shut down and clean up, okay? So you need A1. Trust me when I tell you it is an infinite series. So you can tell me what A1, R are, and then you can find the sum. I'm guessing that was Lana finally powering down. Is Lana in the building with you, Chase? Lana, do you know what Lana looks like? Is she in the building? You're in the building, right? Okay. So she's having internet issues at home then. It has nothing to do with the school's internet. Okay. I was trying to figure out where she was. Do you know everybody in the room with you, Chase? Somewhat. Like if I said, is Camiel there? You'd say, yeah, he's there. Okay. So here's your assignment for the rest of the week. And actually, I won't see you again for the rest of the week, but you need to know everybody in the room so that when I call to find out what's going on, I'll probably call you since you seem to know who everybody is. All right, I got 9 out of 14 responses, so it's not hard to find A1. It's the first number of the list. Dividing backwards is a very simple step for R, and then just use your formula, A sub 1 over 1 minus R. And don't forget to put the actual R value in the formula. Even though we're taking its absolute value to compare to 1, we're not using that number in the formula. We're using the actual R, sign and all. And give it to me as a fraction since we had fractions in the question. All right, I gotta do this real quick because I know you're not gonna have time to close. So let me see what everybody said. R is not 1/3. Negative 1/2 divided by 1 is not 1/3. Not sure what you're doing. It is also not negative 2. Negative 1/2 divided by positive 1 is negative 1/2. Okay, this is correct. This is perfectly correct. This is perfectly correct. Don't say or 2. It's 2/3, not or 2. Don't say IDK. How did you get it right? Okay, your R's are your problem, guys. You're not dividing your fractions right. This is a negative 1/2 R, so it's not. So here's what you did. You used a positive 1/2 instead. You should have used a negative 1/2. So it's not 2 either. You're dividing forward, not backward. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys, you can sign out because I know you have to do your cleaning. So